everybody. Welcome to CBS 21 Next. This is the Christmas Day edition. Today, we're talking about some winter weather that is on its way, what you need to look out for specifically tomorrow night. So we're going to bring in Chief Meteorologist Tom Russell. Tom, tell us a little bit more about what's going on here.
All right. First of all, Merry Christmas, as you mentioned.
Merry
so
Christmas.
We're all getting through a very quiet Christmas day. We're actually in the 50s today, so it's hard to believe that we're here tonight talking about ice tomorrow. So here's how things are going to play out. You jump in with any questions that you might have. National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory here for the entire state. There's a couple of spots that will be a little worse, and that's the different shaded purple there in the western part of the state. That's an ice storm warning. So full-blown ice storm there. They're not going to get much in the way of snow. More snow to the east. That's what you see, that other shaded color there on the right-hand side of your screen. So everybody's getting something. More snow to the east and less snow to the west. But the trade-off is where you don't get the snow, you get the ice.
Is this typical for this time of year?
It is. You know, we're always suspect to those mixed storms like this. You know, a lot of folks who wish we could just get full-blown snow and be done with it. But unfortunately, we're going to see this changeover. As I mentioned, we were in the 50s today. Tomorrow we'll only be in the 30s. So basically, we're going to lock in this cold air first, and then the moisture comes right over top of that. So if those two were synced up better, yeah, then it would be all snow, and folks would be a little happier, you know, a little more just after Christmas kind of snow. But this is a serious thing because it's dangerous. Now we're talking ice. Let's show you that other graphic if we could. So what we're worried about here is I'm putting us in the moderate icing category, which means, and I know you've covered things like this, Maxine, where you get that ice accumulation on the tree limbs, on the power lines. It creates weight, and sometimes the tree limb goes into the power line, or the power line itself goes down, and then you're dealing with some power outages. But more importantly, it can be dangerous just walking out your front door, and you got that little glaze of ice, and it doesn't take much. But I'm anticipating 1/10 of an inch, maybe up to 1/4 inch of ice in some spots. So ice is the really big concern here.
Okay. And how quickly can this really go away? Is this lasting through the weekend?
Well, here's the deal. It's mainly, it starts tomorrow afternoon, mainly mid-afternoon, 2-3 o'clock. And at first it's a little burst of snow, and then it's sleet, which is the pellets of ice. Those two we can kind of manage, right? But then as it changes to freezing rain, now it's falling as liquid and becoming ice as it makes contact. So to answer your question, it doesn't wrap up until overnight tomorrow night, maybe midnight or thereafter, but the temperatures are still below freezing. So even as we wake up on Saturday, things are still icy. So I think really to be out of the woods, we got to wait till about lunchtime on Saturday before we warm up back above freezing, and things will be melted by then.
So tomorrow is a warm day, correct?
Right.
And that you talk a lot about, you know, people staying off the roads tomorrow, especially. But of course, even when we say warm day and whatnot, people still have their lives and things to do and places to be, right? So with that being said, how can we advise people to best take care of themselves, their cars, you know, whatever else in this weather?
Well, the best thing to do is do anything you got to do before 2 tomorrow. So no problems in the morning. Maybe you're returning something from Christmas. Maybe you're just having lunch or something like that. But you want to be back and where you're going to be by about 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. The best thing I always say about winter weather, Maxine, is if you stay put, you stay safe. It's winter weather that you put yourself in jeopardy sometimes when we have to be there. But to your point, you know, some of us have to work, some of us have to be places. So the best thing to do is get there as early as you can before things get real icy, and just be able to hunker down. Even if you have to get there an hour earlier, I'd rather have you do it safely than not. And then once you're in that situation and you're like, oh, I need to run out and get milk and eggs. No. Just stay put. You'll be good by later in the morning, around lunchtime on Saturday. So sometimes we just got to, put our needs on hold for a second and respect the weather a little bit.
Yeah, brave it out a little bit. Just hunker down at home.
Exactly.
Just go that long without it, or I guess that's short, really, because it's not.
It's not that long. You're sleeping most of that time.
Yeah, you're sleeping. Yeah, whatever. Just go to sleep. Yeah.
But yeah, the concern here is for power outages and things that make things a little more dicey. And as I showed you there, I'm putting this in a moderate category. So just kind of plan ahead, flashlights, charge your phone battery, that kind of thing.
Okay. Oh yeah. Making sure that you have all that, charge your
Right.
phones, things like that. I know Ed and I talked about that yesterday. And speaking of all of this, we've talked about this yesterday, now again today. And with all of us being informed about this, it's also important for the people who are, on the roads, like for example, PennDOT, right, to prepare for these kinds of things. So what do we know is happening there? Are they doing anything differently
Yeah,
in
so
these?
they'll be out before anything starts, and they lay down that little layer of on the streets there to resist that ice from ever forming. So a little bit of road treatment. They'll start that probably 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and
Okay.
hopefully that'll have some effect. The other thing that helps is just traffic. So even as it begins, you know how the road just kind of stays wet. It's as people stay off the roads, especially those back roads, and then things turn to to icy situations. So PennDOT's going to do their best, but again, it's better if you just stay put and stay off the roads.
Yeah, of course. Just wanted to kind of see if they've said. I think I saw something online. They're posting about it. Just trying to stay ahead of it. Maybe help the process a little faster, melt it a little faster.
Yeah, just even as the sun comes up, even if it's still cloudy on Saturday, that'll help a lot. But I'm more worried about folks who take a fall even around their house. They're not even in their car.
Right.
You take the dog out for a walk, and next thing you know, you're slipping. So just be careful around the house. Use your head. Make sure you have some footwear that can kind of navigate the ice a little bit.
Yeah, no slippers outside. That's a terrible idea.
No.
Boots on.
Yeah.
If you're going to get your mail, boots on. Okay, I have a question for you, Tom, about your Friday night. How are you hunkering down Friday night during that time?
Well, fortunately, Ed is going to be working for me. It's, and I'm sure this has happened to a lot of people, but we were supposed to have a big family party. We always do it the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
And my wife has family in Northeast PA, and some folks are coming, and they're not going to make that drive now. So we're going to be able to have a quiet night at home, which I hope folks will respect the weather and stay put. But yeah, it does alter your plans. And that's what I mean. Like, think ahead, say, oh, I was supposed to be at so-and-so's house at 6 o'clock tomorrow. No, bad idea. You want to be off the roads by about 2 or 3 tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm sure a lot of people who are watching here can kind of relate to that. People who are from out of state coming in and hoping to kind of spend this weekend. So
it's such a big travel weekend. Folks have huge plans. So we've kind of shifted to Sunday for maybe doing our little gathering.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good idea. And of course, we'll be watching kind of the roads throughout this week and this weekend to see how everything goes. Because I do wonder how this is going to impact, if at all, really the travel back, right? Because people will try and beat the travel home, like all of that traffic that could happen at that time. Right. So, I wonder what we're going to see. But for all of you guys.
Fortunately, if you had today off, Friday off, you can alter those plans. Say, okay, we're not going to go back until Saturday now, or hey, we're going to hit the road a little earlier tomorrow and get home ahead of this thing. That's what I mean by about thinking ahead, planning ahead. Again, they're usually looking at the winter weather advisory, because it's not just here in central PA. It's going to be worse as you go west as far as the ice, worse as snow if you're going towards Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Hazleton, up toward the Poconos. So they could be looking at several inches of snow, which kind of creates its own issues as far as clearing things out. But for us, it's going to be mainly the ice.
Yeah. Oof. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tom, for breaking all of that down. And we'll see you at 10 and 11 o'clock to talk a little bit more about what you can expect. Thank you all so much for watching this edition of 21 Next. Again, like I said, we'll see you at 10 and 11 o'clock. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and thanks for watching.